So we just have one more nominator, but it's for the largest number of people. And, I didn't say it, you said it, so it's okay. It's my pleasure to introduce Nic Gariess. Nic is a dancer and ethno-choreologist. He's a 2016 MTAP Master Artist in Traditional Percussive Dance, and he's known these people for a long time, so I'll let him say more about the Costabella Cloggers.
Thank you very much. The impresario and folklorist Bascom Lamar Lunsford described Appalachian clogging, saying that this dance form that we have in these mountains, knocking out the tune all the way through the dance, makes our dancing very attractive to people outside of our region. And I think that the Costabella Cloggers are continuing that and continuing to make this form quite attractive, and I'm living evidence of that. I remember seeing the Costabella Cloggers when I was 11 years old, and I remember the dancing in this group of folk, sometimes 8 members, sometimes 6 members. At its largest size was 12 members. I remember going to events where people would be playing live old-time music, and the first people on the floor to get up and corporally respond to this music would be some of the members of this group. So their work constitutes not only an individualistic, soloistic practice out of a deep love for old-time American music, but also a kind of communitarian, a dance form that involves touching, holding each other, moving each other around the floor, and interacting with members of your community. They first saw Appalachian clogging in 1978 when a group of dancers from North Carolina visited the Wheatland Music Festival. And they were so taken by this form that they formed their own company, and in time have even added some of their own creative facets that are really a part of their own personality and our own Michigan region. The dancers traveled, eventually renovating an old school bus, which is the traditional vehicle for Appalachian clogging teams. You wouldn't believe the precedent for how many teams there are out there that did actually renovate a school bus and maybe even lived in a school bus at one point in time. And this is a phenomenon that kind of occurred throughout the United States and indeed internationally in the 70s and 80s during that folk revival period. What's unique about the Costabella Cloggers is their continuation, their energy, and I might add their tireless joy with this form. They've continued to share their dancing, teaching other dancers, younger dancers, sharing their routines, making up new steps, following around musical artists that animated them, both physically, emotionally, and I would even say spiritually, and continuing to engage in a somatic way with this tradition. They asked me if I would express that they think of themselves less as a performing ensemble and more as a dancing family that shares movement, that shares life, that shares music together, that shares art making together. And they wanted me to especially acknowledge the dancers that came before them. It's not only some of their teachers like Eileen Carson Schatz, Sharon Leahy, Ira Bernstein, Rodney Sutton, but former members of the group who couldn't be here today. So I'd like to begin just by acknowledging Denny Stringer, Jan Bowman, Donna Myers, the late Gene Fitzner, Barb Hunter Fox, John Fox, Ken Kobolars, Abe Aaron, Andy Gray. And then I also want to acknowledge 2 MTAP awardees who were master artists who shared their dancing as part of this ensemble. And so there's not only this tradition of them receiving the form, but transferring it, and indeed my apprentice is here today as well, so we have a kind of a 3rd generation happening, and this is a very special thing, being from where I'm from, to see this kind of work continue on. Their name is a spoonerism of Isabella and Mecosta counties, which is where they reside. They are teachers, lawyers, counselors, plumbers, engineers, and they continue to chase their pleasure as they share company with each other and share music. So I'd love to introduce Brad and Marcia LeClaire. Yes. Dave Goodwin, Chris Cooley-Cotton, Chris Lukens, David Cotton, John Cotton, Steve Rose, Catherine Goodwin, and Pamela Peach Burke, the Costabella Cloggers.
So there are so many of them. I'm going to stand over here.
Stage may not be here,
Come on up. Why not? All of you. A whole lot of you.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
When we alerted them that they were receiving this award, their response was, "And we're all just the best of friends." I think you could. I saw that in an email. I told you. I'm sorry, but that's just kind of how they are. It's the sweetest. So I'd like to read the 2016 Michigan Heritage Award is presented to the Costabella Cloggers in recognition for their outstanding contribution to Michigan's cultural heritage. They have, with excellence, served their community as master practitioners and educators in the art of team clogging, presented by the Michigan State University Museum's Michigan Traditional Arts Program in statewide partnership with the Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs. We have their legislative tribute that's signed by State Senator Judy K. Amons and Speaker of the House Ken Cotter and Governor Rick Snyder. If one of you would like to speak for the group, feel free to step.
You know, what an honor it is, and what an unexpected honor. I think Paul said it really well when he said, you know, we don't do what we do because we're looking for somebody to recognize it. We do what we do because it's just so much fun, and we're just serving our own interests and needs. So I really want to say thank you to Nic.
Yeah.
And thank you to Michigan State and the Arts Council and all and Micah. You gotta let me get there. Jeez, sister. But I also want to say what a great state we live in that will recognize the traditions and the wealth and the treasures that we have. And I want to say thank you to everybody that spends money to help the arts and to help artists do what they love to do. And thank you again, Micah, for being the awesome person you are.
Just say we're almost kind of a, thank you, assistant. We're more than just this core group. To me, we're a whole village of dancers and good friends. I see many faces in the audience who I dearly love that have danced with us for years, and we love them too. I see Emily here, who's a young dancer who's kind of joined the village, as they say. And Bruce Bauman, my dearest friend in the whole wide world, thank you so much for playing music for us at the drop of a hat anytime, which we truly appreciate. I'll just close, and it's funny, I've heard the phrase 3 times before in other person's speeches, is the phrase carry it on. That's what we're doing, carry it on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This does conclude the ceremonial part of the Michigan Heritage Awards ceremony. We are going to be asking all of the awardees well, we'll finally give you your plaques and citations back. I know we took them right away, but we would like to have some photographs. We're going to move the banner off the stage so that we can get some nice shots, and we'll maybe pretend and present them to you again so we can get some nice photos. Also, I'll just entreat all of you that if you do know somebody that you think deserves such an award, call Micah. Email Micah. Actually, the nomination forms are on the web, and we're willing to handhold anybody through the process. And it's a program that gives us joy to be able to honor such individuals. And so it's a labor of love. It's not work. And so don't be afraid, don't be shy. Call us, email us, and we will be happy to help you in that endeavor. So yes, and thank you to the National Endowment for the Arts and also to the Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs, who helped support this ceremony and the Michigan Traditional Arts Apprenticeship Program. Without them, we couldn't do it. So with that, I'm going to say thank you for being audience members, for being supporters, family members, friends of these great individuals here. And I hope that you've enjoyed the ceremony and that you will also have a chance to see the last little bit of dwindling activities as this year's festival closes down. So thank you again.